Do you remember when Christmas meant aluminum trees and bubble lights? The holidays in the 1960s and 1970s were filled with traditions that seemed like they'd last forever. Today we're exploring 25 Christmas customs that have disappeared from modern celebrations. Let's start with aluminum Christmas trees. These shimmering silver trees were the height of modern sophistication from 1959 through the late 1960s. The Aluminum Specialty Company of Manitowoc, Wisconsin, produced over 1 million of these metallic wonders, priced between $15 and $25, about $150–250 today. You couldn't use traditional lights on them due to electrical hazards, so families used color wheels, rotating discs with colored gels that bathed the tree in changing hues of red, blue, green, and amber. The trees came in sizes from 2 to 8 feet tall, with branch tips that looked like silver bottle brushes. By 1965, nearly 40% of American homes had one. Charlie Brown's Christmas special in 1965 criticized their artificiality, and by 1969, sales had plummeted. Today, vintage aluminum trees sell for hundreds on eBay, prized by collectors who remember their space-age glamour. Door-to-door caroling. Back in the 1960s and early 1970s, groups of carolers regularly went house to house on December evenings, singing traditional Christmas songs for neighbors. Churches organized youth groups, scout troops bundled up, and families made caroling a yearly tradition. Homeowners expected them, keeping cookies and hot chocolate ready. The carolers carried songbooks and flashlights, moving through neighborhoods in organized routes. Some groups collected donations for charity, carrying UNICEF boxes or March of Dimes containers. The activity peaked around 1968, when an estimated 60% of American neighborhoods experienced caroling. By the mid-1970s, concerns about stranger danger, busier lifestyles, and colder liability attitudes began discouraging the practice. Gated communities and apartment living made spontaneous caroling impossible. Today's rare caroling happens at nursing homes or scheduled events, not random doorsteps. That magical surprise of voices singing Silent Night on your porch has vanished into Christmas past. Tinsel made of lead. Those shimmering silver strands that decorated every Christmas tree weren't plastic. They were actual lead foil until 1972. Invented in Germany in 1610, lead tinsel created an incomparable sparkle that modern materials can't match. A box of 1,000 strands cost 39 cents in 1965, about $3.50 today. Families carefully saved and reused tinsel year after year, treating each strand as precious. The weight made it hang perfectly straight, creating waterfalls of silver. Children spent hours placing individual strands, though many ended up throwing handfuls for instant gratification. The FDA banned lead tinsel due to poisoning risks, especially for children who might eat it. Manufacturers switched to aluminum and plastic, but neither captured lead's unique properties. Mylar tinsel appeared lighter, tangled easily, and created static electricity. Many families simply stopped using tinsel altogether. That distinctive heavy shimmer that made 1960s trees magical exists only in photographs now. Christmas Club savings accounts. Starting each January, millions of Americans deposited $1 to $10 weekly into special Christmas Club accounts at their local banks. By 1965, over 14 million Americans participated, saving over $2 billion annually. Banks gave out special payment books with 50 weekly coupons. Members received no interest, but banks mailed checks in early November, ensuring Christmas money. Some employers offered payroll deduction plans. The First National Bank of Brooklyn claimed to have invented the concept in 1909. Banks competed with premium gifts, toasters, blankets, or dishes for opening accounts. Missing payments meant starting over or accepting reduced payouts. The ritual of making weekly deposits taught children about saving. Banks had special Christmas Club teller windows during busy seasons. By 1980, automatic savings transfers and credit cards made Christmas clubs obsolete. Today's consumers rely on credit rather than year-long saving plans for holiday shopping. That discipline of weekly Christmas deposits has completely disappeared. Sears Wishbook arrivals. The Sears Christmas wish book's arrival in late summer was an event that rivaled Christmas morning itself. These 600-page catalogs, weighing nearly 5 pounds, hit mailboxes in August from 1933 to 1993. Kids immediately claimed them, spending months circling desired toys with different colored pens for each child. The 1969 edition featured 225 toy pages alone. Parents used them as behavior modification tools. Santa's watching your wish book choices. The books cost Sears $100 million annually to produce and mail. Families in rural areas especially depended on them, as Sears might be their only shopping option. The toy section showed elaborate displays impossible to replicate in stores. By Christmas, these catalogs were dog-eared, torn, and covered in marker circles. The 1992 final Christmas edition marked the end of an era. Internet shopping replaced the tactile joy of flipping through pages and the anticipation of waiting months between choosing and receiving. Department store window displays. Major department stores invested fortunes creating elaborate mechanical Christmas window displays that drew millions of viewers. Macy's, Gimbel's, Wanamaker's, and Marshall Field's competed fiercely for the most spectacular scenes. The 1962 Macy's display cost $75,000, about $750,000 today, and required year-round planning. These weren't simple mannequins, but complex automated wonderlands with moving figures, miniature trains, and synchronized music. Families made pilgrimages downtown specifically to see windows, standing in lines that stretched around blocks. Parents lifted children on shoulders for better views. The displays changed weekly throughout the season, encouraging multiple visits. Lord & Taylor's 1966 Enchanted Forest featured 50 animated animals. By the late 1970s, suburban mall growth killed downtown shopping. Department stores couldn't justify the enormous expense for dwindling audiences. Most stores eliminated window displays by 1985. Today's remaining displays pale compared to these theatrical productions that once defined urban Christmas experiences. Real candles on Christmas trees. Despite the obvious fire hazard, many families in the 1960s still used actual candles on Christmas trees, particularly those with German or Scandinavian heritage. Special clip-on holders secured small white candles to branch tips. Families lit them for just minutes on Christmas Eve, with buckets of water and fire extinguishers nearby. Insurance companies despised the practice, and fire departments campaigned against it. But tradition persisted in some households. The 1964 National Fire Protection Association reported 8,000 Christmas tree fires annually, with candles a leading cause. Families practiced strict rituals, never leaving the room, assigning watchers, limiting lighting to 10 minutes. The warm, flickering glow created an incomparable ambiance that electric lights couldn't match. By 1972, most municipalities banned the practice, and insurance companies refused coverage for candle-related fires. Electric lights had improved dramatically, offering safer alternatives. That dangerous but magical tradition of real flames on Christmas trees flickered out forever. Flocking your own tree. Do-it-yourself tree flocking kits were Christmas staples in the 1960s and early 1970s, letting families create their own snow-covered trees at home. These kits, costing $3.99 in 1968, about $35 today, contained spray guns, adhesive, and white cellulose fibers. Families spread newspapers, mixed the solutions, and spent hours applying fake snow. The process was messy, requiring goggles and covering everything nearby. Some used vacuum cleaners in reverse to blow flocking material. Professional flocking services charged $10, $15, so DIY saved money. The results varied wildly, from winter wonderland perfection to disasters resembling diseased trees. The flocking contained asbestos until 1969, creating health hazards nobody understood. Cleanup took days, with white residue appearing months later. By 1975, pre-flocked artificial trees offered easier alternatives. Environmental concerns about aerosols and chemicals ended the practice. Modern flock trees come ready-made from stores. That messy family activity of creating your own winter wonderland has completely vanished. Which of these forgotten traditions do you remember most vividly? TV Yule log broadcasting. New York's WPIX created a television phenomenon in 1966 by broadcasting a continuous loop of a burning fireplace on Christmas Eve. The 3-hour film showed a Irish fireplace from Gracie Mansion, accompanied by Christmas music. Families without fireplaces gathered around their television sets, pretending the electronic flames provided warmth. The original 16mm film cost $4,000 to produce. Other cities copied the concept: Chicago's WGN, Los Angeles's KTLA. The broadcast drew surprising ratings, beating regular programming. Apartment dwellers especially embraced this virtual hearth. Television critics mocked it as the ultimate in lazy programming, but viewers loved the ambiance. The original film deteriorated from overuse, requiring a remake in 1970. Cable television's arrival in the 1980s offered multiple channels, ending the Yule log's monopoly on Christmas Eve viewing. WPIX canceled it in 1990. Though digital versions exist now on Netflix and YouTube, the communal experience of everyone watching the same broadcast fireplace has been extinguished. Handmade paper chain decorations. Every classroom and home in the 1960s featured miles of construction paper chains during Christmas season. Kids spent hours cutting strips, forming loops, and gluing them together. A package of colored construction paper cost 49 cents in 1967. Schools made chain making into competitions. Which class could create the longest? Families assigned chain duties to children, keeping them occupied during winter break. The chains used specific color patterns: red, green, white, repeat. Some ambitious families made chains from magazine pages or wrapping paper. Libraries and churches organized chain-making parties. The Guinness Book recorded a 1969 chain in Michigan stretching 12 miles. These decorations draped everywhere: doorways, windows, mantels, stairway banisters. Rain or humidity caused disasters as paste dissolved. By the mid-1970s, manufactured garlands became so cheap that handmade chains seemed pointless. Modern parents lack time for such labor-intensive crafts. The hours of repetitive cutting and pasting that once occupied every December have disappeared entirely. Bubble lights on trees. These mesmerizing decorations contained colored liquid that bubbled when heated by the bulb inside, creating constant motion on Christmas trees. Introduced by Noma Electric in 1946, they peaked in popularity during the 1960s. A string of 7 lights cost $2.99 in 1965, about $28 today. The tubes contained lightweight oil that percolated when warm, taking about 5 minutes to start bubbling. Kids stared hypnotized at the continuous motion. Each light was fragile glass that broke easily, spilling the mysterious liquid. Parents worried children might drink the contents, though it was relatively non-toxic. Different brands bubbled at different speeds, creating varied effects. Some families combined multiple strings for maximum bubbling action. The lights consumed significant electricity, raising power bills noticeably. By 1975, energy crisis concerns and safety regulations reduced their popularity. Modern LED lights can't generate enough heat for bubbling. Reproduction bubble lights exist, but lack the authentic unpredictability of vintage ones. That gentle percolating magic has largely vanished. Fruitcake as actual gifts. In the 1960s and early 1970s, giving and receiving fruitcakes was a genuine Christmas tradition, not the joke it's become. Families spent days making homemade versions, soaking fruits in brandy for months. A quality fruitcake required $50 worth of ingredients in 1968, about $125 today. Companies like Collins Street Bakery shipped millions nationwide. Recipients actually appreciated them, serving slices to guests with pride. The dense cakes lasted months without refrigeration, making them practical gifts before overnight shipping. Offices exchanged fruitcakes between departments. Some families had recipes passed down generations with secret ingredient combinations. The cakes required aging, the best ones made in October for Christmas giving. Mail-order fruit cakes came in decorated tins that became storage containers afterward. Johnny Carson's Tonight Show jokes in the 1970s began fruitcake's reputation decline. By 1980, fruitcakes became comedy props rather than sincere gifts. The tradition of actually wanting, making, and appreciating fruitcakes has completely disappeared. Christmas corsages for women. Every woman expected to receive and wear a Christmas corsage during the 1960s holiday season. Florists created elaborate arrangements with tiny ornaments, ribbons, and bells alongside traditional flowers. These cost $3 to $8 in 1965, about $28.75 today, depending on complexity. Women wore them to church services, office parties, and family dinners. Department stores sold simpler versions for $1 or $50. The corsages featured poinsettia blooms, holly springs, miniature pine cones, and silver bells. Some included battery-powered lights by 1968. Husbands knew forgetting the Christmas corsage meant serious trouble. Refrigerated corsage cases appeared in supermarkets during December. Women compared corsages competitively, judging husbands' thoughtfulness by size and elaborateness. Teenage boys gave them for Christmas dances. The tradition required specific etiquette, wearing on the left shoulder, removing for cooking, preserving in refrigerators. Women's liberation movements of the 1970s criticized corsages as symbols of female decoration. By 1975, the tradition was fading rapidly. Modern women might wear holiday jewelry, but formal Christmas corsages have vanished completely. Toy commercials during Saturday cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons in December became hour-long toy advertisements during the 1960s and early 1970s. Companies bought massive advertising blocks showing the same commercials repeatedly. Kids memorized jingles for Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Easy Bake Ovens, and G.I. Joe. The commercials were mini-productions with elaborate sets making toys seem magical. Mattel spent $15 million on Christmas advertising in 1969. Children watched specific shows just to see toy commercials, creating wish lists from what they saw. The ads showed kids playing in impossible scenarios, basements transformed into battlefields, bedrooms becoming doll mansions. Batteries not included appeared in tiny print. Parents complained about the manipulation, but networks needed the revenue. The FTC investigated deceptive practices, finding commercials used camera tricks to enhance toy capabilities. By 1978, Action for Children's Television successfully lobbied for commercial restrictions. Cable television and VCRs ended the Saturday morning monopoly. Today's children see toy advertisements year-round online, eliminating the concentrated December blitz. Share your favorite memory of these 25 traditions in the comments below, sending Christmas cards to everyone. The 1960s represented peak Christmas card culture, with Americans sending 4 billion cards annually by 1968. Families maintained card lists with hundreds of names, updating addresses yearly in special books. A box of 50 cards cost $2.99 in 1965, about $28 today. The process started in November, addressing envelopes, adding personal notes, applying stamps. Some families included newsletters detailing their year's activities, typed on carbon paper for multiple copies. Card displays were competitive home decorations. People strung cards on ribbons across doorways or arranged them on mantels. Receiving cards from distant relatives or old friends provided the only annual contact. Mailmen delivered bags of cards daily throughout December. The post office hired thousands of temporary workers. Companies printed employee directories specifically for card exchanges. Zip codes, introduced in 1963, made addressing easier. By 1980, long-distance calling became affordable, reducing card necessity. Email and social media eliminated the communication gap cards once filled. Today's average household sends just 20 cards, mostly to elderly relatives. Christmas seals on everything. Those decorative charity stamps from the American Lung Association adorned every Christmas envelope and package from the 1960s through mid-1970s. First introduced in 1907, Christmas seals peaked when 85 million American households received them in 1967. The seals featured holiday designs: Santa, reindeer, snowmen, trees, changing annually. Sheets arrived unsolicited in mail with donation requests. Most families felt obligated to contribute if they used them. A typical donation was $2 in 1965, about $18 today. Schools competed in seal sales with prizes for top sellers. People used them decoratively beyond mail, on gifts, windows, mirrors, refrigerators. The 1969 design by Norman Rockwell became especially collectible. Using Christmas seals showed community spirit and charitable giving. The campaign raised $35 million in 1968 alone. Direct mail fundraising competition and donor fatigue reduced their impact by 1980. Email eliminated the envelope decorating opportunity. Though Christmas seals still exist, ubiquitous presence on every holiday mailing has vanished forever. Blue laws closing everything. Christmas season Sundays in the 1960s meant absolutely nothing was open due to blue laws. These religious-based regulations forced all retail businesses closed on Sundays, especially during December. Forgot ingredients for Christmas dinner? Too bad. Need last-minute gifts? Wait until Monday. Gas stations, grocery stores, department stores, all locked tight. Only pharmacies could open for emergencies, and some required police permission. The laws varied by state, creating confusion. Bergen County, New Jersey, had America's strictest, banning even appliance sales. Families planned carefully, shopping Saturdays for Sunday needs. The quiet Sundays forced family time, whether wanted or not. Churches saw packed attendance as there were no competing activities. Restaurant owners lobbied against the laws, losing lucrative Sunday business. By 1970, commercial pressure began eroding blue laws. Two-income families needed Sunday shopping time. The 1961 Supreme Court case, McGowan v. Maryland, upheld blue laws but weakened their enforcement. By 1978, most states had repealed or stopped enforcing them. Today's 24/7 Christmas shopping would seem impossible to 1960s families. Christmas bonus cash envelopes. Employers in the 1960s and early 1970s routinely handed out cash-filled envelopes as Christmas bonuses, a practice that's virtually extinct today. The average bonus in 1968 was 1 week's salary in cash delivered personally by bosses during the last workday before Christmas. These weren't performance bonuses, but expected seasonal gifts. Even small businesses participated: grocery stores, gas stations, factories. The cash came in crisp new bills from banks that stocked extra for bonus season. Employees counted on these bonuses for Christmas shopping, sometimes spending in advance based on expected amounts. The envelopes often included personal Christmas cards from company owners. Some companies held envelope ceremonies where the boss called each employee individually. Tax laws were looser, allowing cash payments without immediate withholding. Union contracts often specified minimum bonus amounts. The personal touch of physical cash in an envelope created genuine gratitude. By the late 1970s, IRS regulations tightened, requiring documentation. Direct deposit and gift cards replaced cash envelopes. That exciting moment of opening an envelope full of Christmas cash has disappeared. Mandatory office Christmas parties. During the 1960s and early 1970s, attending your company's Christmas party wasn't optional. It was an unwritten requirement that affected your career. These elaborate affairs at hotels or country clubs started at 6 p.m. sharp on Friday evenings in December. Companies spent lavishly. General Motors' 1968 Detroit party cost $50,000, about $425,000 today. Wives wore formal gowns, husbands rented tuxedos. The parties featured full orchestras, not DJs. Open bars flowed freely without today's liability concerns. Dancing with the boss's wife was politically crucial. Missing the party meant explaining yourself for months. Some companies chartered buses to transport employees. The highlight was often the CEO's speech and bonus announcements. Gift exchanges happened with everyone watching. Secretaries received perfume. Executives got desk sets. Office romances sparked and ended at these parties. Polaroid cameras captured embarrassing moments that became office legend. By 1975, women's workplace equality made spouse-required events problematic. Drunk driving lawsuits ended open bars. Economic downturns killed lavish budgets. Today's optional casual office gatherings bear no resemblance to those mandatory formal spectacles. Cigarettes as Christmas gifts. Hard to imagine now, but cigarettes were premium Christmas gifts throughout the 1960s and into the early 1970s. Cartons wrapped in holiday paper sat under trees. Special Christmas packaging featured festive designs. Philip Morris created gift sets with lighters and ashtrays. A carton cost $2.40 in 1965, about $22 today, making them affordable but substantial gifts. Advertisements showed Santa smoking, with slogans like, "Give the gift of pleasure." Even non-smokers gave cigarettes as sophisticated presents. Teenage children bought parents cigarette gifts without controversy. Department stores created special cigarette gift sections. Some brands offered Christmas bonuses. Collect pack wrappers for merchandise. Hospitals gave cigarettes to patients as Christmas treats. The 1964 Surgeon General's report had minimal impact on gift-giving habits. Television commercials pushed cigarettes as thoughtful presents through 1970. The ban on broadcast advertising in 1971 began changing perceptions. By 1975, giving cigarettes seemed increasingly inappropriate. Today, cigarettes as Christmas gifts would be considered offensive, even dangerous. Christmas plays in every school. Public schools in the 1960s and early 1970s universally presented elaborate Christmas pageants without controversy. Every child participated, whether Christian or not. These productions consumed December curriculum with weeks of rehearsals. The 1968 Supreme Court case, Epperson v. Arkansas, hadn't yet triggered religious content concerns. Productions featured nativity scenes, angels, wise men, and explicitly religious songs. Mothers sewed costumes for months. Bed sheets became shepherd robes. Tinfoil covered cardboard crowns. Evening performances packed auditoriums with extended families. Schools competed for most elaborate sets and costumes. Teachers spent personal money on decorations. Local newspapers reviewed elementary school productions seriously. The Christmas play determined social hierarchies. Who played Mary or Joseph mattered enormously. Jewish, Muslim, and atheist families rarely objected publicly. Some schools performed the same traditional play annually. By 1975, ACLU challenges began eliminating religious content. Winter concerts replaced Christmas pageants. Generic seasonal themes replaced nativity stories. Today's carefully secular school programs bear no resemblance to the openly religious Christmas productions that once defined December in every American school. Live Christmas trees in classrooms. Every classroom in the 1960s had its own real Christmas tree, brought in after Thanksgiving and decorated by students. Teachers spent their own money, about $5 in 1965, it's about $45 today, selecting perfect trees. Each class competed for best decorations with principals judging contests. Students made ornaments during art class, paper snowflakes, popcorn strings, construction paper chains. The trees needed daily watering, creating rotating student responsibilities. Pine needle cleanup became punishment duty. Some ambitious teachers flocked trees in classrooms, creating magnificent messes. The fire hazard was enormous. Dry trees, paper decorations, and overloaded electrical outlets. Several tragic school fires in the early 1970s changed regulations. Artificial trees replaced real ones by 1975. Allergy concerns eliminated even fake trees eventually. Religious diversity awareness made Christmas trees controversial. Insurance companies refused coverage for real trees in schools. Today's sterile winter decorations, if any exist, can't compare to the sensory memory of pine-scented classrooms filled with twinkling lights. That universal experience of decorating classroom Christmas trees has completely vanished from public education. Stockings with oranges and nuts. Christmas stockings in the 1960s and early 1970s always contained oranges in the toe and mixed nuts in shells, a Depression-era tradition that lingered for decades. The orange represented exotic luxury when fresh fruit was rare in winter. Even prosperous 1960s families maintained this custom. Nuts required crackers and picks, creating Christmas morning activities. Children expected these items, feeling cheated without them. Walnuts, Brazil nuts, pecans, and hazelnuts filled net bags costing 79 cents in 1968. The orange was always a navel variety, individually wrapped in tissue paper. Some families included tangerines, apples, or pomegranates. Traditional stockings also contained ribbon candy, chocolate coins, and candy canes. Small toys filled remaining space: jacks, marbles, yo-yos. By the mid-1970s, year-round fruit availability made oranges mundane. Shelled nuts replaced troublesome whole ones. Electronic games and expensive small gifts changed stocking expectations. Today's stockings contain gift cards and electronics worth hundreds. That simple pleasure of discovering an orange and nuts on Christmas morning has vanished completely. Company-sponsored children's parties. Major employers in the 1960s and early 1970s hosted elaborate Christmas parties specifically for employees' children, complete with Santa, gifts, and entertainment. Ford's 1967 Detroit party entertained 15,000 children, costing $75,000, about $650,000 today. These Saturday afternoon events featured magicians, puppet shows, and cartoon films. Every child received age-appropriate gifts selected by human resource departments. Real department store Santas listened to wishes while photographers captured moments. Companies rented convention centers or decorated factory floors. Lunch included hot dogs, hamburgers, ice cream, and unlimited soda. Some parties featured pony rides, mini trains, or carnival games. Employees volunteered as elves, serving food and organizing games. The parties built company loyalty and community among workers' families. Children formed friendships with co-workers' kids. By 1975, liability insurance made these events prohibitively expensive. Working mothers couldn't always attend Saturday events. Diverse workforces made Christmas-specific parties problematic. Cost-cutting eliminated such extravagances by 1980. Today's companies might offer family movie passes or gift cards, but elaborate children's Christmas parties have vanished from corporate culture. Christmas morning trash burning. After opening presents, 1960s families immediately burned wrapping paper, boxes, and ribbons in fireplaces or backyard incinerators. This practical tradition cleared massive paper accumulations before garbage trucks returned after holidays. The burning created dramatic flames from colorful papers, entertaining children. Families saved some ribbons and bows, but most decorations went into fires. The smell of burning wrapping paper became a Christmas morning sensory memory. Some communities had traditional noon burning times when every chimney showed smoke. Rural families used burn barrels, creating towering flames. Fire departments reported spike in Christmas morning calls from out-of-control wrapping fires. Metallic papers created colorful flames, but toxic fumes nobody understood. By 1970, air quality regulations began restricting burning. Recycling awareness made burning wasteful. Modern gift bags and reusable wrapping ended the excess paper. Increased packaging from toys made burning impractical. Environmental consciousness eliminated this tradition by 1978. Today's careful recycling and trash separation replaced the dramatic finale of Christmas morning bonfires. That ritual of watching Christmas's colorful remains disappear in flames has completely vanished. Thanks for joining us on this trip down memory lane, exploring these 25 unforgettable Christmas traditions. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe.